Cool. So just a couple of questions left, gents. Gonna go to Greg first on this one, and just want to ask: has Dillian Whyte reached his peak? Where do you think Dillian Whyte is in his career? Is he past his best? Are the glory days still to come? Just to reflect on the wins of his career, Joseph Parker, Derek Chisora twice, beat Lucas Brown when he was undefeated. Oscar Rivas obviously lost to Povetkin, then beat him in the rematch. What do you think's to come? He's 33 years old. He's been a pro for over 10 years. Yeah. What it might be a bit of a tricky question, but what do you think is left of Dillian Whyte's career, Greg?
I think he's peaked. I think he's already peaked. I think he's slowly going to go back the way now. Even the performances against Povetkin, yeah, all right. Before he got knocked out via Povetkin, he was bossing that fight, but just it doesn't look the same. There's something slightly different with him. If you look at the Dillian Whyte that fought Chisora the first time, those wild looping shots and like that ferociousness, I don't see it now. It seems to be, you can usually tell when a fighter like Whyte has peaked because they think that they can turn into a bit of a boxer and they can't. So I think he's peaked. I think that it'll be a good fight to be Wallen. I think it's a lot closer than a lot of people think. But yeah, I believe he's peaked, mate.
Yeah. Fair enough. Straight up answer. Going to go to Elliot now. Same question. Do you think Whyte's best days are behind him?
Yes, I think Greg's spot on. Frankly, I really do. I think. I look at the performances. He was almost motivated from that run from Chisora to Rivas, especially. He was really motivated. There was momentum behind him, and in those fights, he looked leaner. He just looked healthier in general and looked more motivated mentally. And I think, don't get me wrong, I obviously had Chisora beating him in the first fight. Chisora was up on the cards in the second fight. I look at the Rivas fight; he was down in that fight as well. And then you're looking at like the opponents from then. Like obviously, had the problems outside the ring, but you're looking at like then you're fighting sort of Marius Wirtz, then you're fighting Povetkin. Povetkin's 40 odd years old. Granted, it's heavyweight boxing, and you're jabbing around and you're beating him, and you obviously put him down for a couple of times in the first fight, but. I don't know, man. I think if you're, I think the position he's at, in a lot of people's eyes, and even in the rankings, you should be dealing with Povetkin better than that, frankly. And I think the fact that he's got a rematch clause in against Otto Wallen as well, one of the classic matchroom rematch clauses, we can look at. Shannon Courtney's got them. Crawler had one, didn't he, against Linares? Completely pointless. I think you're looking at it and going, well, you've got a rematch clause in against. Arguably, I think it's like Greg saying, it's a lot closer than people are giving credit for. But you also, in boxing circles, people know that. But you're looking at it also from the outside going, this is a fringe contender, essentially, and you've got a rematch clause in against them. So there's obviously, I think, a weakness there. I really do. Whether it's in a promotional sense and thinking, we've got him to this position, we need to keep him there, or whether it's in a fight sense, I just think, I think he's peaked. And I think he obviously trains in Portugal now. It'll be interesting to see what shape he comes in for starters, because we know he can balloon up and he can look a bit unconditioned. So, but I think personally he's peaked. I don't think he's going to learn necessarily anything. He's 33 years old. I'm just a year older than him. I'm not learning anything new. So I think, quite frankly, he's not going to turn into a technical boxer now, is he, at this stage either? So it's a case really of just kind of sharpening those tools, motivation and conditioning. But I agree with Greg. In a longer answer than I've given there, but fundamentally the answer is the same as Greg. Definitely he's peaked. Yeah.
We shall see. Paul, same question to you, mate. Do you agree with Greg and Elliot that Dillian Whyte is past his peak and the wins he's had are going to be the best of his career, or do you think we can see future best career performances in the next couple of fights? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I do agree with what the gents are saying there, because maybe from a slightly different perspective, the fact that maybe, I'm not saying he's like on peaked and on the downward spiral, but I'd say, he's just maybe hit his peak. His peak was probably the last 2 or so years. As you were saying about the Povetkin fight, he was looking decent enough until he got chinned. And then the second one, but like we all kind of knew. The first one was a shock to us all. The second one, we kind of knew what was going to happen again because, Povetkin having COVID and things like that, and just being older and just probably thinking, right, well, I've got a rematch here against Whyte, probably getting paid a ton of money and I'm just going to sail off into the sunset after, because he's never going to fight for a world heavyweight title. Even if he did beat Dillian Whyte, he's not going to get a title shot anyway. So I think it was kind of like a win-win for Povetkin in that sense. But yeah, so I think I was actually trying to think what was White's best performance of his career. Like I don't actually know. I'm thinking, was it you're probably going to say it was the Parker fight, but then the last round you're like,
held on.
Another 30 seconds and that might have been a completely different story. So I do concur with the lads that he's definitely, if not peaked already, just at it now and will. And I don't see him, even if he does beat Otto Wallin, I don't see him getting a bigger name on his record than he already has now.